The president, again, has outlined that he does want to go to Florida. They just haven't fixed a time on that. Of course, to everything you read about now, way after the fact, Nicholas Cruz was a powder keg. How to address powder kegs before they blow? We've got Paul Viollis joining us now, who follows this very, very closely, security brief host. Paul, once again, you and I chat after something horrific like this, right, and we piece together signs of trouble. We piece together, signs of discord, all of that. And here, maybe on social media as well, in the case of Cruz. What do you do?
Well, you know what, Neil, the most telling thing about this is I've been working school violence shootings since the mid-'80s. And the behavioral profile is exactly what it is today as it was then. Nothing's changed. The only thing that hasn't changed is us. We're not doing anything about it. The telltale signs are very clear. This kid not only told people individually, but he spoke about it on social media. The level of predictability, Neil, is frightening. We absolutely need to keep our eye on the ball and do a better job at telling people, not just if you see something, say something, but what is something, and that these certain behaviors will, in fact, lead to this type of incident.
All right. Now, when he was on social media, the reference you made there was to a YouTube posting not too long ago. He said, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter." Now, at first, I thought, well, we didn't know the source of that comment, but we do. We do know his name, right, and it was picked up by someone who caught that and alerted officials. In fact, alerted the FBI. So how does that get dropped? What happens?
I have, and you know what, Neil, that is a great question, because I don't know how that gets dropped. There's a gross disparity between when people make threats. Someone can say you're going to die. Well, everyone's going to die. Right. But to make a statement like that, that myopically focused on intentionally taking life, I simply cannot see how the ball got dropped in that area. I simply cannot.
I could see if it was an alias or using a different name. It was his name. So I would assume there are ways they could check on that. Another thing, and of course, we won't know the answer to that for a while, but his behavior when he got kicked out of this high school, he was angry. A lot of kids there had even predicted, apparently, that he might return.
Right.
Furthermore, that he was disgruntled and angry, a little scary. Now, there are many who fit that kind of definition. I understand it's a needle in a haystack deal. Right. But is it the sheriff seemed to intimate it's a matter of resources, that we need more law enforcement, that we need more, let's say, sheriffs on site or deputies on site. There was one at this very large school, I understand, but he was nowhere near the shooter at the time Cruz came to the school. But what do you make of all that, that it's a matter of either more weaponry, more people, more agents, that sort of thing?
Well, Neil, let's just break that down real quickly.
Sure.
I really don't agree with that. And the reason why I don't agree with the sheriff in that particular regard is that if you look at the sheer size of that particular campus, or most high school campuses, if you have one school resource officer or one armed security guard, that's not going to do anything to preemptively mitigate the incident that took place yesterday, unless, of course, the shooter just happens to walk right into the direction of that person. What we really need to focus on are two things. One, investing in the reality of security at schools, not the illusion of securities at schools. And two, we need to embrace the fact that this is avoidable, and that we have to teach students and teachers about not just who this particular person is, which you're right, many people share those characteristics, but it's the actions, it's the behaviors that they put in motion that becomes the telltale sign, and the level of predictability from a behavioral side that tells us in law enforcement, this is a high probability incident right here. Those are the things we need to arm our students and teachers with, so that they can preemptively mitigate with validity and reliability law enforcement so they can do their job. That, I truly believe, is the answer to this.
Well put. Paul Viollis, thank you. Very good seeing you.